So I'm here in London's Excel Centre for the launch of the Triumph Scrambler 1200, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to grab a little bit of footage and to show you what goes on at these press launches, and we'll have some footage from the party, or the launch reveal party, that's taking place later tonight. Should be 1,500 to 2,000 people there, and a lot of stuff going on.
We started the session with a little recap and the history of the Scrambler heritage that Triumph have before we were taking through the features and the vision for the new Scrambler 1200. Then it's a quick Q&A session with members of the design team.
You've got an off-road mode that actually retains ABS and traction control, so you end up with much less intervention on the front, but the rear is completely switched off.
Bike was then unveiled, and it's a bit of a bun fight whereas the journalists all vie for positions to get their pictures and to have a good close-up look at the bike. Time then for a quick piece to camera before everybody disappears and starts prepping their copy.
As it came to be known, demanded agile, dynamic, torque-heavy performance bikes, and riders made the leading Triumph motorcycles of the day.
At the moment it is Alberto. It's coming up to take the checkered flag. Good run for Italy at the moment.
Okay, that's enough of the shenanigans at the launch. What about the bikes themselves? Well, as you probably would have seen already, the new Scrambler 1200 comes in two different flavours. First up is the XC. Now this is what Triumph are calling an all-road bike, so it's perfect on tarmac, and it also has an off-road focus, as you'd expect being a Scrambler. It has the high-power 1200cc Bonneville twin engine, which powers the Thruxton, but it's got a dedicated Scrambler tune just to bring the torque in a little bit lower. So it delivers 90 PS, that's about 89 brake horsepower at 7,400 revs, but the torque output is the interesting thing. That's at 110 Newton meters, as low down as 3,950. The second bike in the lineup is the XE, and that's built to be just as good on road as the XC, but it's got more off-road capability, and indeed the E stands for extreme. The XE comes with exactly the same motor, putting out the same power. The difference comes in the suspension offering and some of the other bells and whistles that the XE has. Now there's quite an extensive feature set on both of these bikes, so I'll go through the specifications in general and then I'll just highlight the differences between the XC and the XE. They both use the second generation TFT instrumentation, so it's a full colour speedo, and there's an option for this to be personalised, even to the point where you can have the screen start up and show your name, which a bit of a gimmick, but you know, nice touch. There are up to 6 riding modes, so both models will feature road, rain, off-road, sport and ride up, which is a configurable mode. On top of those 5, the Scrambler XE also features an off-road pro mode, and that gives a real focused off-road setup, and also then uses a different off-road throttle map. When you start looking at the, let's call it electricery,
It's a nice word.
this is where the XC and the XE models differ most. The XE model has an IMU fitted, and that means that this has optimized cornering ABS. That comes as standard. And that IMU also means that you've got cornering traction control as well. Going through the rest of the list, it's all stuff that you'd now come to expect. So there's LED lighting throughout the bike. The switches are all backlit. They have the torque assist clutch, which gives a nice light feel on the lever. Keyless ignition, heated grips. They come standard on the XE but are an accessory for the XC. You have cruise control, which comes on both models, and a ubiquitous USB charging socket. Now what I like about this is that charging socket is still under the seat, but it's integrated into a foam lined storage box, so you can lock your precious phone away. It will keep dry and it won't get rattled and shocked about. Just going back to that TFT screen, both bikes feature full Bluetooth phone integration, so you get a nice display up on the screen of all your phone functions. And this is where the people that have just bought the new Tiger 800 might have a bit of a gripe, because this bike comes with turn-by-turn navigation built into that Speedo. It's powered by Google, it uses Google Maps, but that is baked in and that's on both bikes. Also, if you're into your action cam footage, then there is a world's first from this bike where there's an integrated GoPro control system. So you'll be able to hook your GoPro up and control that again from the hand controls on the bars. There was no details of compatibility issued, but I'm guessing it's going to be the later generation GoPros. For those people that like bolt-on goodies, and I include myself in that list, there will be 80 plus new Scrambler accessories coming to the market. And there's all sorts of things: high level front mud guards, engine bars, a grille for the headlight. There's a nice Arrow carbon fibre exhaust silencer, lots of little bits that like indicator relocation kits, a number board, panniers, a tank bag, all sorts of stuff like that. And from the factory there will be 2 new inspiration kits: the Escape kit, which includes things like the panniers, handguards, grab rail, fog lights, centre stand and a fly screen. And you've got the Extreme Inspiration kit, so if you really want to have a stripped back desert sled type look, that's the one to go for. That comes with the Arrow carbon silencer, a radiator guard, a machined filler cap, high front mud guard, different coloured handlebar brace, LED indicator kits, a rear light relocation kit, side stand base extension, stainless steel dresser bars, headlight grills, headlight bezel. You get the idea. So as you can tell, the main differences between the XC and the XE are a lot of electronic aids and bolt-on bits, but one of the biggest differences is the suspension. The XC comes with a Showa 45mm fully adjustable upside down front fork with 200mm of travel, and at the rear you have a pair of fully adjustable Öhlins piggyback shocks, whereas the XE has the Showa 47mm fully adjustable upside down forks with 250mm of wheel travel, so an extra 50mm there. And again, Öhlins piggyback rear shock. I could bore you with loads more from the specification sheet, but I'll just pick out some of the key facts that I think you might be interested in. The XE is just very slightly longer than the XC. It has slightly wider handlebars at 905mm as opposed to 840 on the XC. But the seat height is the interesting thing. That's one thing that people are asking about. The XC has got an 840mm seat height. The XE, with that extra travel, pushes that up to 870mm, so not really overly tall. Now, everybody has been speculating on the weight. A lot of people are saying, well, it's just going to be an absolute beast, too heavy to take off-road. And actually, we were quite surprised at that. I think the use of things like the new lightened aluminium swing arm have made a big difference. So the dry weight for the XC is 205 kilos. The XE is 207 kilos. Now that's not that far away from something like the Street Twin And it's lighter than both the T100 and T120. You've got more power there and you've got a lot more capability, so that will be interesting to see how these actually ride and handle. Fuel tank capacity is 16 litres, which is pretty good. So with the fuel consumption at around 58 miles per gallon that has been suggested, you'll get a decent range out of that tank as well. I think I've thrown enough stats at you from the spec sheet. Spec sheets and real life riding are very different things, so it's going to be interesting to see when people get their hands on these, how they actually perform, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on one, although I'm probably going to have to wait until they hit the showrooms to do that. If you've got any other questions about the bike, things that I haven't mentioned that you'd like to know, just pop them in the comment section down below, and until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.